This is Abdul Saad, clinical psychologist at Vital Mind Psychology here in Sydney, Australia. And my website is www.vitalmind.com.au. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the pathological core belief the empath must face if they are to grow and break free of the narcissist. I want to preface this video by saying that this is not a feel-good video. Many of the videos on YouTube on the empath-narcissist dynamic are very one-sided, and they fail to address some of the underlying issues the empath has that sets them up for being locked into pathological, intimate relationship with narcissists. So when you watch my video, please keep an open mind and open heart. And I would ask before you comment and say, I've understood you wrong, to take a moment to reflect, maybe take a day, and just think through the core concepts that I'm going to be discussing in this video. Because in order for human beings to grow, we have to, with courage, confront the lies that we tell ourselves. This is a universal part of growing up for all people. It's something that I've had to personally do in my life, and it's something that all mature, wise adults need to do. And the empath is no different. So let's begin. Now, we know that the empath has a tendency to get into destructive relationships with the narcissist in which they become a pathological giver in that relationship. Now, although on the surface the empath is not giving to get, beneath the surface the empath very often enters into what's called covert contracts with people. There are certain unwritten rules that are in operation when the empath is giving, although it's very difficult for the empath to acknowledge that this is the case at a conscious level. Now, the pathological giving of the empath is based on a false assumption, a false core belief, and that is, if I am good to you, if I love you and give you what you need, you will love me and give me what I need without me having to ask you for it, without me having to make my needs known to you. That's the key part, the last part, without the empath having to make their needs known. And it's the empath's pathological denial of their own needs, their willingness to self-sacrifice, that makes them the ultimate prey for the narcissist. So empaths are basically individuals who operate under the false assumption that their needs fundamentally are illegitimate and therefore they cannot be verbalized. They cannot be requested in a forthright manner. They cannot be put on the table. They have to be covertly done. They enter into a covert contract where I'm going to give you what you want, and somehow I hope that you're going to give me what I want without me having to ask for it because I've been so loving and nice to you. So the niceness of the empath often is only skin deep, because beneath the niceness typically is resentment, hostility, and anger for their unmet needs. But paradoxically, the empath will typically block all attempts to have their needs met because deep down they believe that expressing their needs would make them bad, selfish, defective human beings. And one of the ways the empath does this blocking with the narcissist is by remaining with the narcissist, by continuing the self-sacrificing in the false hope that the narcissist is going to somehow turn around and say, yes, you've given me so much, let me give you back. So the empath is locked in a pathological bind with the narcissist because the narcissist is in a parasitic relationship. The narcissist has no problems very directly and assertively, and often psychopathically, stating their needs. And when the narcissist does this, it triggers the empath's pathological giving. But it also triggers the covert contract the empath is entered into, in that if I give, you're going to pick up on what my needs are and hopefully give something in return. And the expectation of reciprocity is never met with the narcissist, or it's met very haphazardly, very intermittently. The narcissist provides the empath with very little, with intermittent reinforcement, on and off reinforcement, just to keep them hanging. So the empath and narcissist enter into this pathological dance sometimes for decades, until the capacity of the empath to keep denying their needs reaches its limit. The empath begins to manifest explosive rage and sadly holds on to this fantasy that the narcissist, now that I've expressed my needs, but in a way which is now like the volcano effect, because the needs have been suppressed for so long, that maybe now or surely now the other party is going to pick up, cotton on, is going to start to reciprocate. So the years of the covert contract with the narcissist now over. In the mind of the empath, it's now time for payback, which sets the empath on a destructive journey of trying to force the narcissist to comply with or meet their needs. Now, the evidence for the pervasiveness of this pathological need to give, coupled with the empath's pathological need to suppress their legitimate needs, colors most of the empath's relationships, not just with the narcissist. And typically the empaths that I counsel, that come to me for therapy, have a whole host of issues with other people in their lives, with their children, with family members, where this dynamic has played out. The empath has given. There has been no reciprocity, and they have become cut off and socially isolated from people and highly resentful from them. Now, this is not to blame the empath, but this is to say if the empath is to be helped, they need to, with courage and with conviction, face these underlying pathological beliefs and assumptions they have been operating under since childhood, which do not fit into the operational frame of a psychologically integrated adult. So the way out of this trap for the empath requires an enormous amount of courage, and that's why I plead with you, before you tell me I've misunderstood you, I've mischaracterized you, if what I'm saying to you is resonating with you, just think about it. Think about it and see whether there's any truth to that. There may not be, and that's fine. The empath with courage has to face these maladaptive ways of being in the world, of denying, pathologically denying their needs, of pathologically giving. And the other critical factor for recovery for the empath is to stop being nice. Because niceness is a cover for this covert contract. Niceness is a way to say, if I'm nice to you, maybe you're going to pick up what my needs are and give them to me and accept. And instead, we need to move from niceness to authenticity and boldness. Okay? To be able to genuinely state our needs, and if our needs are not being met, to accept that fact and begin to rise above that, to look elsewhere, to get ourselves out of dynamics in which we're pathologically locked into giving, and the covert contract is in operation. So the empath must also face the reality that they are locked into a lose-lose situation with the narcissist. The narcissist is incapable of reciprocity. The narcissist is incapable of feeling your pain. Now, that's been a very concentrated, condensed message that I've given there. Take the time to think about these concepts, because in the next video, I'm going to be talking about understanding the empath-narcissist dynamic. And in particular, I'm going to be focusing on the attachment and energy exchange system. So hopefully, if you watch my videos on narcissism from scratch, take notes, use them as a springboard to connect with a therapist in your local area. I think these videos can become a really nice way for you to accelerate your learning, your recovery, and they can be a really good companion for when you find a therapist that can help you work through these issues. I want to thank you again for your continued support. I look forward to reading your comments. Please check out my website, vitalmind.com.au. I'm Abdul Saad, clinical psychologist here in Sydney, Australia, and I look forward to making more YouTube videos for you that are relevant to your needs. So keep the comments coming, keep the suggestions coming. I do read each and every comment, but with the volume of comments, it's become impossible for me to answer each and every comment. So I hope you'll understand. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you soon, God willing.